All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to kind of like unpack the story of Josiah Faison,
Okay.
this young entrepreneur who's built an app. It's called Oria,
Mm-hmm.
and it was formerly known as Tail.
Interesting.
But the app is designed to help people capture and share their life stories.
Cool.
We got a really fascinating mix of sources here,
Oh, wow.
like social media posts, articles. We even found some app reviews.
That's a lot of material.
Yeah, and trust me, this journey is anything but typical.
I bet.
We're talking balancing construction work with app development,
Really?
pitching to your boss after a jet ski ride,
Bleh.
and ultimately creating technology that makes storytelling accessible for everyone.
That's awesome. You know what strikes me right away?
What's that?
It's just the powerful motivation behind Oria.
Yeah.
It's not just another tech startup chasing the latest trend.
Right.
It was born out of a very personal loss.
Okay.
The passing of Josiah's grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
He realized how many of her stories he'd forgotten and was determined to create a way for others to preserve their own family histories.
It's amazing how like a personal experience can spark such innovation.
It really is.
Josiah's even said that he regretted not being a better listener
Oh, wow.
when his grandmother was alive.
Mm-hmm.
And he described her as a great storyteller,
Mm-hmm.
but that he unfortunately wasn't always the best audience.
Mm.
So it really highlights the importance of actively listening
Absolutely.
and recording those precious stories while we can.
Absolutely. And this gets to the heart of what makes Oria so compelling.
Yeah.
It speaks to that universal desire
Mm.
to connect with our past, understand where we come from,
Yeah.
and to share those stories with future generations.
You know, before we dive deeper into Oria,
Yeah.
I'm really curious about Josiah himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this fascinating blend of interests and experiences.
Okay.
He graduated from the Rochester Institute of Technology
Okay.
with a degree in finance,
Mm-hmm.
but his passions clearly extended beyond the world of spreadsheets.
So he was already exploring the potential of AI,
Yeah, he would.
even taking second place in a competition
I've read about that.
where he built an app in just 3 days.
Yeah, and this early interest in AI hints at the innovative approach
Right.
he would later bring to Oria.
For sure.
And speaking of innovation,
Okay.
let's talk about Josiah's hard hat to AI founder story.
Love it.
He needed to bootstrap Tail.
Mm.
So he did what any resourceful entrepreneur would do.
What's that?
Took a job working overnights on a jackhammer
Really?
with his brother.
Wow, that's incredible.
Really shows his dedication, willingness to do whatever it takes to get his idea off the ground.
For sure.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
He didn't just work construction.
Okay.
He used his coworkers as beta testers.
What?
Imagine that, getting feedback on your app while taking a break from jackhammering.
That's brilliant.
That's a great example of Josiah's resourcefulness.
It really is.
He's not afraid to think outside the box
Mm.
and leverage every opportunity to move his vision forward.
Yeah, and that entrepreneurial hustle paid off.
It did.
After months of refining the app,
Yeah.
he pitched the concept to the owner of the construction company right after a jet ski ride.
Crazy.
And the owner was so impressed, he invested $50,000.
I love that detail about the jet ski ride.
Me too.
It speaks to Josiah's ability to build relationships and seize the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Oh,
He also launched a Kickstarter campaign
okay.
that ultimately failed.
Well, disappointing at the time.
Yeah,
Failures can be incredibly valuable learning experiences.
they can.
What did Josiah take away from that Kickstarter campaign?
So much.
And how did it shape his approach going forward?
It taught him the importance of setting realistic goals,
Mm-hmm.
managing expectations,
Okay.
and being adaptable.
Yeah.
He realized that even with a great idea,
Mm-hmm.
success isn't guaranteed,
Right.
and it requires constant learning and adjustment.
I think we've all been there.
Now let's dive into Oria itself.
Right.
What exactly does this app do?
Okay.
And what makes it stand out from other storytelling platforms?
So at its core,
Yeah.
Oria empowers users to record their life stories
Okay.
through text, audio, or video.
Interesting.
Think of it as a digital time capsule
Yeah.
or a personalized history book.
Cool.
But what sets it apart is how it goes beyond simply documenting events.
From what I've seen, Oria really emphasizes capturing those intangible aspects of a life.
Yeah.
The emotions, the values, the lessons learned.
Absolutely.
It's about preserving the richness and nuance that often gets lost in traditional forms of storytelling.
And that's where Josiah's early interest in artificial intelligence comes into play.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm curious to explore how Oria leverages AI
Yeah,
to enhance storytelling and make it even more meaningful for users.
I'm fascinated by that too.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered, Oria seems to be using AI to not only transcribe audio and video recordings, but also to analyze the content and identify recurring themes.
Oh, okay.
This could be incredibly powerful for helping users gain deeper insights
Right.
into their own lives and experiences.
That level of analysis could also help users connect with others who have similar stories or experiences,
Right.
creating a sense of community and shared understanding.
Yeah.
It's really taking the idea of digital legacy to a whole new level.
And speaking of connections,
Okay.
one of the things that really stood out to me in our research was Josiah's commitment to accessibility.
Totally.
It seems like he's determined to make storytelling possible for everyone, regardless of their abilities.
Absolutely. This is where Josiah's vision goes beyond just building a successful business. He's using technology to address a genuine human need, the
Right.
need to be heard and understood.
And this commitment to inclusivity was actually inspired by a very personal encounter
Really?
he had with John Thompson,
Okay.
a historian who lost his eyesight. Josiah interviewed John to get his perspective on history and technology.
Interesting.
It's inspiring to see how Josiah took John's experiences to heart
Yeah.
and is now incorporating audio-driven features into Oria,
Wow, that's amazing.
making it easy for people with vision loss to record and share their stories.
So cool.
It really shows that Josiah isn't just building an app. He's building a bridge between people,
Wow.
a way for everyone to participate in the power of storytelling.
That's beautiful.
But there's another chapter in Josiah's story
Okay.
that adds yet another layer to his character,
I'm listening.
his time working on commercial salmon ships in Alaska.
Salmon ships.
Yeah,
That sounds like quite a departure from the world of app development.
because
How does that experience fit into Josiah's journey?
it was actually during his college years
Okay.
to fund his education. Josiah spent his summers working on those ships.
Wow.
And let me tell you, it was no easy gig.
I bet.
We're talking harsh conditions, long hours, intense physical labor.
I can't imagine the resilience and grit that kind of experience would demand.
It was a lot.
What did Josiah learn from those Alaskan adventures?
So much.
And how did it shape his approach to entrepreneurship? It sounds like those Alaskan summers were a true test of character. Josiah's willingness to take on such demanding work to fund his education speaks volumes about his determination.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the typical college summer job.
I bet.
But Josiah talks about how those experiences in Alaska
Yeah.
taught him some invaluable lessons
Oh, wow.
that he's now applying to his entrepreneurial journey.
I'm really curious to hear about those lessons.
Okay.
What stood out to him as the most impactful takeaways?
Well, he actually wrote a really insightful article about it,
Oh,
where he breaks down like 10 key lessons he learned on those salmon ships.
yeah.
It's fascinating to see how he connects those experiences to the challenges and triumphs of building a company.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's the first lesson on his list?
All right, so lesson number 1 is all about showing you're serious. When Josiah first told his friend about wanting to work on the ships, his friend didn't take him seriously
Oh,
until he demonstrated real commitment.
that makes sense. It's easy to talk about big dreams.
Right.
But it's the actions that truly show dedication and conviction.
Exactly. And Josiah recognized that this applies to entrepreneurship as well. Investors, partners, potential customers.
Yeah.
They all want to see that you're truly all in on your vision.
It's about going beyond just having a good idea. It's about putting in the work, the long hours, and proving that you're willing to make sacrifices
Right.
to bring your vision to life.
Absolutely. And that leads right into lesson number 2.
Okay.
People won't always understand or believe in your vision,
Right.
especially when you're doing something new or unconventional.
That's true.
Josiah experienced this firsthand, both when he decided to work on the ships and when he started tailing.
That's something I think a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to.
Totally.
When you're stepping outside the norm, you're bound to encounter skepticism and doubt.
Josiah's takeaway from those experiences was that you can't let other people's opinions deter you.
It's good advice.
You have to have conviction in your own vision, even if others don't see it yet.
Yeah.
It's about trusting your gut
Right.
and having the courage to pursue your dreams, even when faced with negativity.
It's about having that inner fire that keeps you going,
Yeah.
even when the external validation isn't there yet.
Exactly. Now, lesson number 3 is a bit of a reality check,
Okay.
particularly for anyone romanticizing certain jobs or industries. Josiah learned that things are rarely what you expect them to be.
That's for sure.
especially when it comes to demanding work.
He specifically mentioned the difference between watching shows like Deadliest Catch
Oh, yeah.
and actually being on a salmon ship.
Right.
It's easy to glamorize the idea of adventure and hard work
Mm-hmm.
until you're actually facing the harsh realities.
He said those shows don't fully capture the exhaustion,
Yeah,
the injuries, the lack of basic comforts that often come with that kind of work.
that's true.
And it's a valuable lesson to apply to entrepreneurship as well.
Okay.
Building a company is not always glamorous.
Right.
It requires resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace the messy parts of the process.
It's about being prepared for the unexpected challenges
Totally.
and knowing that true growth often happens outside of your comfort zone.
Now, lessons 4 and 5 are particularly relevant to Josiah's journey as an entrepreneur.
All right, I'm ready.
Lesson 4 is work ethic beats schedules.
Okay.
On those ships, there was no such thing as a 9-to-5 job.
I can imagine.
They worked whenever the fish were running,
Wow.
often starting at 3 a.m. with little to no sleep.
That sounds incredibly demanding, but it's clear that those grueling experiences instilled in him an incredible work ethic.
Exactly. And he quickly realized that same level of dedication was essential for building a company. Entrepreneurship often requires long hours, late nights, and a willingness to go above and beyond what's expected.
So those Alaskan summers were almost like boot camp for entrepreneurship.
In a way, they were.
I love it.
And that leads right into lesson number 5,
Yep.
the importance of teamwork.
Right.
On those ships, Josiah saw firsthand how people would quit when things got tough.
That's bound to happen in any high-pressure environment. Not
Yeah.
everyone is cut out for that level of intensity and sacrifice.
But he also learned the importance of surrounding himself with people who were equally committed to the mission,
Okay.
the ones who would persevere even when faced with challenges.
Right.
Building a strong team is crucial in any venture,
It is.
especially in entrepreneurship, where you're constantly facing obstacles and needing to adapt.
It's about finding people who share your vision, your work ethic, and your resilience. And it's about recognizing that not everyone is going to be the right fit for the long haul.
Now, we could go through all 10 lessons, but I think it's important to highlight a few more
Okay.
that really showcase how Josiah's experiences in Alaska shaped his approach to building Oria. For instance, lesson number 6 is about how challenges often lead to the best stories.
Okay.
He said that the roughest days on those ships,
Yeah.
the ones battling storms and exhaustion,
Yeah.
always made for the most memorable tales later on.
That really resonates with me. There's something about overcoming adversity
Mm-hmm.
that bonds people together and creates shared experiences that last a lifetime.
Right.
And those experiences often become the stories we cherish the most.
It's a great reminder that even in the midst of struggles,
Yeah,
there's often beauty and humor to be found.
I like that.
And that leads right into lesson number 7.
Okay.
Enjoy the journey.
Okay.
Josiah said that despite the hardships, he wouldn't trade those summers in Alaska for anything.
That speaks to the importance of finding joy in the process, even when things are difficult.
Yeah.
It's about appreciating the challenges,
Right.
the camaraderie,
Mhm.
and the unique experiences that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
And that perspective is so valuable for entrepreneurs who often face immense pressure and uncertainty.
It is.
It's a reminder to embrace the ups and downs,
Right.
the wins and the losses, as all part of the journey.
It's about finding that balance between striving for success
Yeah.
and savoring the experiences along the way.
Now, before we move on from the Alaskan adventures,
Okay.
I think it's worth highlighting one more lesson
Right.
that directly relates to Josiah's leadership style.
Okay.
Lesson number 9 focuses on knowing your strengths and focusing on what you do best.
Interesting.
He observed that the most successful captains on those ships weren't necessarily the ones with the biggest boats
Right.
or the most advanced equipment.
So what was it that set those captains apart?
They knew their waters.
Okay.
They understood the tides, the currents, the best fishing spots.
Interesting.
They didn't waste time worrying about the competition.
Right.
They focused on leveraging their own expertise to achieve success.
That's a powerful lesson for entrepreneurs, especially in a competitive landscape.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing your unique advantages and playing to your strengths,
Yeah.
rather than trying to be everything to everyone.
And it's about staying focused on your own goals and vision
Right.
rather than getting distracted by what others are doing.
So it seems like those Alaskan summers weren't just about earning money for college.
Right.
They were a crash course in leadership resilience and the importance of focusing on what truly matters.
Exactly. And those lessons are clearly evident in how Josiah is building Oria.
Mm-hmm.
But let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about the company itself.
Right.
Oria, or Tail as it was originally known,
Right.
started as a small startup,
Yeah,
but it's clearly grown and evolved.
it has.
What can you tell us about the company's journey and
Well,
how Josiah has navigated the challenges of building and scaling a business?
one thing that stands out is Josiah's commitment to continuous learning and iteration.
I agree.
He's not afraid to experiment, to try new things. Yeah.
And to adapt based on feedback and experience.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how he learned valuable lessons from that failed Kickstarter campaign?
Absolutely. That experience taught him the importance of setting realistic goals,
Mm.
managing expectations,
Right.
and being flexible in the face of setbacks.
Yeah, he could have easily given up after that,
He could have.
but instead he used it as a learning opportunity to refine his approach.
And that adaptability is crucial in the ever-changing world of technology.
For sure.
Now, I'm curious to hear more about Oria's target audience.
Okay.
Who is this app designed for?
Yeah.
And how is Josiah reaching those users?
From what I've gathered, Oria seems to have a broad appeal,
Mm.
but they've been particularly successful in targeting specific demographics like retirees.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that story pack designed specifically for them?
Yes, it's a great example of how Josiah is tailoring the app to meet the needs of different groups of users.
And I think that focus on specific user groups is a smart strategy.
It allows them to develop features and content that are truly relevant and valuable to those communities.
Right.
I wonder what other demographics could Oria target?
That's a good question.
Are there specific features or content that would appeal to younger generations or those with different life experiences?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge opportunity to expand Oria's reach and impact
Yeah.
by tailoring the app to meet the needs of a more diverse range of users.
It would be interesting to see how they could leverage AI to personalize the storytelling experience even further,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps by suggesting prompts or themes based on a user's interests or life stage.
And they could also explore partnerships with organizations or communities
Yeah.
that are already focused on storytelling and preserving history.
Those are great ideas. It's exciting to think about the potential for Oria to become a truly global platform for connecting people through shared stories and experiences.
And it all goes back to Josiah's vision of making storytelling accessible to everyone. But beyond just capturing and sharing stories,
Yeah.
I'm wondering about the long-term impact of Oria.
Okay.
How does Josiah envision this app shaping the way we connect with our past, present, and future?
It's fascinating to consider how Oria could evolve and what role it could play in shaping the future of storytelling.
Definitely.
Do you think it has the potential to become more than just a personal archiving tool?
I absolutely see that
Yeah.
potential.
Yeah.
Think about it as more and more people use Oria to capture their stories.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes this incredible repository of human experience,
Right.
a digital tapestry woven from diverse perspectives and narratives.
It's like creating a living archive of our collective memory,
Totally.
one that's constantly evolving and expanding as new stories are added.
Exactly. And with AI,
Yeah.
Oria could even start to identify patterns and connections between these stories,
Okay.
revealing insights into human behavior, cultural trends, and even historical events that we might not have noticed before.
It could become a powerful tool for researchers, historians. Totally.
Anyone interested in understanding the human experience on a deeper level.
Imagine being able to trace the evolution of a particular idea or belief across generations,
Wow.
or to see how different cultures have approached similar challenges throughout history.
That would be amazing.
The possibilities are endless.
And it's not just about the past.
Right.
Oria could also play a role in shaping the future
How so?
by providing a platform for people to share their hopes,
Yeah.
dreams,
Okay.
and visions for the world they want to create.
It could become a space for collaborative storytelling,
Yeah.
where people from different backgrounds and perspectives come together
Hmm.
to co-create narratives that inspire positive change.
I love that idea, using Oria to empower people to become active participants in shaping the future,
Right.
rather than just passive consumers of information.
And let's not forget about the potential impact on education.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Imagine students using Oria to connect with firsthand accounts of historical events,
Hmm?
or to explore different cultures through personal narratives.
It would bring history and culture to life in a way that textbooks simply can't.
Totally.
It would make learning more engaging, more personal,
Right.
and more relevant to students' lives.
And speaking of making things personal,
Yeah.
Josiah has hinted at some really interesting features that could further enhance the user experience.
Like what?
Remember those Easter eggs he mentioned?
I do.
Little symbols and images hidden within the app
Oh, yeah.
that represent people who have inspired him along the way.
I love that detail. It adds a layer of whimsy and personality to the app,
It does.
reminding users that there's a real person behind this technology,
Right.
someone who cares deeply about the stories being shared.
It also encourages users to explore the app
Right.
and discover those hidden gems,
Mhm.
creating a sense of delight and surprise.
And those little touches can make a big difference in how people connect with a product.
They really can.
But beyond the features and functionality,
Yeah.
I think what truly sets Oria apart is the heart and soul that Josiah has poured into it.
I agree.
It's clear that this is more than just a business for him.
Right.
It's a mission,
Mm-hmm.
a way to honor his grandmother's memory and to make a positive impact on the world.
And that authenticity shines through in everything he does,
It does.
from the way he talks about Oria to the features he chooses to prioritize.
So what does this all mean for you, our listeners?
Yeah.
We've explored Josiah's inspiring journey, delved into the innovative features of Oria, and even contemplated its potential to shape the future of storytelling.
Now we invite you to reflect on your own stories.
Right.
What moments in your life are worth preserving?
Yeah, have you ever wished you had recorded your grandparents' stories?
Right.
Or captured those special family moments that tend to fade with time?
And how can technology like Oria help you share those stories?
Yeah.
And connect with others in more meaningful ways?
If you're feeling inspired to start capturing and sharing your own stories or the stories of your loved ones, we encourage you to check out Oria.
It's a powerful tool
It really is.
with a heartwarming mission.
And remember, every story matters.
They do.
Each one holds a piece of the human experience,
Mm-hmm.
and together they create a tapestry that connects us all.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Mm-hmm.
and keep sharing your stories.
Thank you for listening to BB Faison, your go-to source for entrepreneurial insights and business best practices for creators. For more information on Josiah Faison and Oria, you can click the links below. We aim to bring you inspiring podcast episodes packed with actionable tips, expert advice, and success stories from thriving entrepreneurs. Whether you're launching a creative business, scaling a side hustle, or building a startup, our content will help you navigate the ever-changing business world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and return next week for more.